Hello and welcome to the Machinists News Network. I'm Deirdre Kanievsky. It's one thing to talk about doing something and a whole other to take action. And that's exactly why machinists at this year's legislative conference took their issues to Capitol Hill, talking to all who would listen.
So on that issue, yeah, that's basically where we're coming from.
IAM member Joe Newberry and his local lodge brothers and sisters have traveled all the way from Anchorage, Alaska to make sure their voices are heard, especially on the issue of the possible Northwest and Delta airline merger.
It's about us, but it's not about us. It's about the communities we live in, the states that we live in. It affects everybody. Everybody needs to be calling and saying, no, enough is enough. We don't want this. This is bad.
Surrounded by everything Alaska, John and his co-workers from IAM's Local Lodge 601 in Anchorage met with an aide of Alaskan Congressman Don Young in his office on Capitol Hill. According to Newberry, like the IAM, Representative Young is opposed to this merger and further consolidation of the airline industry.
We're informing him not only of the job losses there, the number of employees that we have, but we're a major shipper of seafood in and out of Alaska. We do about 2 million pounds of seafood out of the state every year.
And it won't just be the machinists or the seafood that's going to suffer if this merger goes through.
Our bus drivers for our crews back and forth. I brought the list of the local produce dealers and mom and pop stores that we haul freight in and out for that also show the impact on.
And once that happens, competition between the airlines will be a thing of the past.
Gas, $4 or $5 a gallon. Why do you need to be driving 100 miles to your nearest airport, 200 miles to try and get out because your service has been cut or eliminated from your city?
Newberry says it's already happening.
You can fly cheaper from Alaska to Europe or Alaska to Asia than you can from Alaska to most of the lower 48. It's just crazy.
And while the Alaskan crew was tackling mergers, IAM members in the lower 48, specifically North Carolina, were taking on the issues of federal employees.
Good to see you again.
In the same building, just a few floors away, IAM members from Local Lodge 2297 were making the rounds to Congressman Walter Jones' office to thank him for his help on stopping something that could have seriously hurt federal employees: the implementation of a new national security personnel system, sometimes called NSPS.
This system would have rolled back a lot of the rights that we have to collectively bargain, form unions, and have a voice in the workplace. Congressman Jones helped to change that by putting legislation forward that actually repealed the NSPS personnel system for wage grade employees.
This win helped federal employees in North Carolina and across the country.
It's a big win for not only for us as a local, but for everybody that works for the Department of Defense. And it also slowed down the movement towards trying to implement pay-for-performance systems within the federal government in general.
For the members in North Carolina, coming to Washington to say thanks and bring attention to all labor concerns is one of the best ways to make progress. It puts a face on the issue and makes sure that politicians know every vote really does count.
So the congressman understands that working people is what makes this country go. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, I think that it's important that everybody understands that, and he seems to understand that working people are the important fabric of this nation.
According to the IAM's legislative director, Matt McKinnon, the lobbying done on Capitol Hill during this year's legislative conference was a huge success. But he tells machinists to keep that momentum going back at home. For more Machinist news, you can log on to goiam.org. See you soon.